Welcome inside TD Garden. I'm Sierra Goodwill, joined by Josue Pavone and Trags.
What's up?
It's time to talk about Marcus Morris. It's been months now. He's been struggling offensively, still getting a considerable amount of minutes, and now it's more concerning because Gordon Hayward is playing so well as of late, and so is Jaylen Brown. So when is it time for Brad Stevens to kind of cut back on those minutes and give these Hat guys a chance to get on the floor?
I don't think it's concerning. I think it's a good thing that Gordon Hayward's starting to play better. That takes pressure off Brad Stevens to give Marcus Morris those minutes. You don't have to. The way Marcus Morris should be handled now, and I think Brad Stevens will do this going into the postseason, he is a weapon who can spread the court when you need instant offense, when you need the threat of a three-point shooter. Perhaps you're behind by 9 points or so, or 12 points, and you need somebody in there who's a legitimate three-point threat. That's Marcus Morris's sole contribution to the team right now, and I think that's pretty evident.
Yeah, and you know what? You can say the same thing about the opposite end of the floor. Defensively, that's what makes Marcus Morris so valuable, at least in my opinion. It's what he's able to do on defense. You get caught in the switches, whether we're talking about someone like Giannis Antetokounmpo, which the Celtics are sort of destined to meet in the postseason. You're going to want a guy like Marcus Morris in there. This is a guy who did a really good job in the last year's postseason, but not just offensively, but defensively. And I think that's something that constantly gets overlooked when we're talking about someone like Marcus Morris.
Morris can be somebody who can spend fouls. And in the playoffs, that's a big deal. Going way back to the bad boys in Detroit, they would, put budget fouls per game. Chuck Daly was a mastermind at doing that. Marcus Morris could also do that, but you need his offense.
Yeah, all that's good, but you can't deny the facts that his plus-minus is very poor. He does seem to have been making his teammates around him worse when he's on the floor, so that's definitely something to address. But we also have to talk about Terry Rozier. He's been struggling tremendously as of late, almost hard to watch, almost unplayable, would you say?
Yes, at this point.
Yeah, he's got to cut those minutes a little bit.
Look, unplayable is hyperbole. You need to play him because he's your backup point guard behind Kyrie. You really don't want Marcus Smart running the point, I don't think. I mean, you could in an emergency, but I think you need Terry Rozier. He's very quick. He can defend. He can do that. He can steal, come up with a couple of key steals in the second half. He can do that. But in terms of him on the court, handling the ball offensively, is a liability.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about someone like Marcus Morris, that's someone that, okay, he's not in a starting lineup anymore. You're taking minutes away from him a little bit right there. But with someone like Terry Rozier, who's been struggling for months now, why is he still playing over 20 minutes a game? I mean, I just don't understand the theory behind it. He hasn't been giving them a whole lot. He did hit one big three, a Monday night, but and it was big. Don't get me wrong. Brad Stevens, of course, would like to see more of that, and I think that's why he's continuing to go with him, thinking that it's going to somehow translate down the road. But at this point, I mean, I think you could talk about, let's do 15, 16 minutes a game instead of going over 20. Maybe throwing someone like Semi Ojeleye to stop the bleeding when they're really down. They need that defense. And for offense and sort of controlling things when the turnovers start to be overbearing, I mean, I don't know. Brad Wanamaker? Who knows? Like, there's other options for this Celtics team. I mean, I'm not saying that give someone like Wanamaker consistent minutes, but when you're able to see someone like Rozier struggle for so long, and he's still clocking in over 20 minutes, which is not something a lot of Celtics players can say, you have to start wondering when Brad Stevens is going to start limiting those minutes and start trimming it.
This Garden Report is brought to you by betonline.ag. Head to clnsmedia.com/win. Enter promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back on your first deposit. So guys, now it's time to address that situation with Marcus Morris and Terry Rozier. Who are you doling out those minutes to if you had a chance? Who are you most impressed with as of late?
Defensively, I still love Semi Ojeleye. I know I've been saying that for weeks now, but he just gives you that toughness. He can stop the bleeding. He can sort of neutralize the, when it comes to the second unit, having to come up with big stops and prevent themselves from getting down, especially in that third quarter, the dreadful third quarter that's sort of been, killing the Celtics throughout those last 3 or 4 losses. You can have someone like Semi Ojeleye can defend at multiple positions and also can give you some three-point shot, a little bit of outside touch.
Okay, here's the deal with Semi Ojeleye. You can have him on the floor for defense, and certainly he can do that. He can defend with the best of them, and like I was saying earlier, he can spend some fouls. He is an offensive liability. And
he can make the 3 tries every once in a while. I'm not saying give him 20 minutes now.
I think you're stretching. I mean, the reason we didn't see
3-and-D. He's a 3-and-D guy.
You didn't see Semi Ojeleye for a long time was because the understanding was he didn't really fit in the Celtics offense very well. He wasn't running the offense.
Well, Terry Rozier was getting 24 minutes too. But
well,
that's true.
that's the decision that really it's going to come down to. I think Semi Ojeleye, though, to your point, does bring some value in the playoffs with defense.
Yeah, I say Semi Ojeleye. You can also just give more minutes to Jaylen Brown when he's healthy again, and of course you got Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward's been scoring. He scored double figures for 5 straight games now. You can give him more minutes as well. He's feeling pretty good, and you're going to need that in the playoffs.
We'll see how these guys perform down the stretch. Head to clnsmedia.com for all of our content.